There's a little bit of strategy, I should say, that you definitely had to implement. Can you share your personal story with us?
The plan actually has to start with the fire that's in the pit of your stomach.
What was your mentality going in to figure out what to charge people?
I think it is an absolute balance between what you need and also researching what your competitors are. It is okay to ask for money. It is okay to ask for it. It is okay to receive it. Cash that check.
What if the thing that people keep calling your passion is actually the blueprint for a sustainable business and you are just missing the structure?
We're going to find out today how to pay your bills, grow, and not burn out trying to do good. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Courageous New Start. I'm Dawn Stevens.
And I'm Alexis Rogers.
Thank you so much for joining us on this special episode. Once again, we are talking about that transition from corporate to entrepreneurship. We can do it. But let's say that you have a passion and you just want to change the world and do good and help people. How in the world do you actually make money doing that? With structure, with organization. We're not gatekeeping today.
No.
Ever, actually.
Ever. I love this episode and what it's going to be about because, this was my plight trying to figure out my entrepreneurship. I knew I wanted to make impact. I knew I had the skills to do good, but I was like, okay, how do I actually make money doing this? So that's why I am so excited about our guest, Alysha Price from the Price Dynamic, social impact queen, okay? Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you guys for having me. Thanks for being excited.
Oh man, you do a little bit of everything.
I do.
But describe the Price Dynamic and then the other businesses that you have, because until I actually sat down with you, I really didn't understand what being a social impact entrepreneur even was.
Yeah. So the Price Dynamic is a co-parenting, coaching, and consulting firm that supports never married, divorced, and single parents to become cooperative co-parents. And it derives from my own lived experiences as a co-parent. But I also do, as you mentioned, all the things. So I have, through this social impact space, learned so much more about me and became so comfortable in just being myself that I just decided all the things I'm interested in are things I should try. And therefore, I have multiple businesses and doing all the things. So I am an author. I'm also a coach. I am a mentor to many people, and I am exploring what it looks like to just dive into all of the things that I'm interested in. And whether or not they're all successful, they're all worth it to try. And so I'm in that space of, if I like it, let's go with it.
Can we take this back for the viewers who can relate to everything that you just said, which would be me? Because we did all the things, we tried all the things, and then we said, okay, this works, let's run with it. This didn't work, put it to the wayside, right? But let's go back for the folks that are watching that are in that corporate job, that are thinking about transitioning to entrepreneurship, or they're at the beginning stages. Because really, there has to be some sort of structure involved. As much as it sounds great to say, oh, you want to do it, let's try it. There's a little bit of strategy, I should say, that you definitely had to implement. Can you share your personal story with us of, hey, it was the year of whatever, and I was like, something's got to change. Let's go do this.
Yeah, it was the year of crazy.
Okay, right. That's every year. Okay.
Listen, right? So it's like going all the way back. It was the year before turning 40.
Okay.
It was my son's senior year of high school. It was also the year that I purchased my first home in the home that I live in now. And so that's why I say it was the year of crazy. There were so many things happening that I think if I had have sat down and had a real plan and structure initially, I would have told myself this is not something I can accomplish or something that I should even attempt to try right now. So what I would tell anyone is the plan actually has to start with the fire that's in the pit of your stomach. Wow. And it's okay to know that that's step number one. A lot of people are really scared to launch because they feel like they don't have the business plan. If you look at that passion, that purpose, and that gnawing feeling of, I want to do this as step number one, go, right? After that, it was, you need people to support what that idea is, of course. And I would encourage people to not look at their immediate friends or family as those people, because those are the people that are afraid for you. Those are the people that are like, wait a minute, this is crazy. How about you should wait?
Right.
You shouldn't do this right now. And it's because, of course, they're only speaking from their experience.
That's right.
And even if they have had some success in business, they're also speaking from their love and their fear for you. And that is not the space that you want to be in an opening, right?
You're trying to start something new.
Right? I remember my dad saying to me, like, oh, I love your idea. Stay at your job, keep your job, work on your business part-time. And that is what a lot of people attempt to do in terms of, figuring out that structure. For me, that was not going to work. I don't know how to half-ass things. I don't know how to be mediocre. I don't like it. So for me, it was like, if I'm going to do this and I'm going to put my name on it and dare to call the business The Price Dynamic, my last name, I gotta jump all the way in.
Right.
Right.
Can I just ask a quick follow-up? Just because most of us do a side hustle and hold on to the job full time. Most of us really do. So let me ask your situation. I know that finances are always a factor. So you're saying you actually quit a job
Yep.
and then went full blown, just jumped right in.
Yes.
Tell us how you do that. How do you pay the bills? We've had so many episodes about that.
Yeah.
Pay the bills.
Yeah. So what I did, and I would encourage anyone to really look at fellowships, look at opportunities to get that encouragement, that buy-in from someone who is also believing in your idea, and they can help you with the structure that you don't know about.
Yep.
Because what you don't know, you don't know. I am a very proud recipient of the Finnovation Fellowship. I was a part of the second cohort, which is a fellowship funded through Finnegan's Brewery and with the support and financial backing of Bush Foundation.
And is that just local to Minnesota?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And so in that second cohort, they chose 9 individuals out of, I think there was probably 60 applicants. And what a blessing to be those 9. And when I say that you need that initial buy-in, right? You need someone to say, I actually think your idea is worth it. I support you in trying this. That's what I needed. It was the push I needed.
And for anybody who doesn't really understand how fellowships work, because I remember trying to have this conversation recently with my dad, and he was like, "A fellow, what now? Now is this just for new friends, or is this
Right.
coming
Is this
with
a
some
grant?
stuff? What is it?
The money
Right.
free?
Right?
Yeah.
Like, how does it work? How has it worked for some of your experiences?
Yeah, so I'm grateful to have had this financial support from 2 different fellowships at different points in my career. So the onset of the Price Dynamic was the Finnovation Fellowship, and it was a $50,000 fellowship. So what that means, not a grant, it was the investment in me as a leader to come up with my business idea. So $50,000 is not a lot of money, right? But it was a 9-month fellowship to then say, you know what, we're going to provide you, financial backing in the form of a stipend or, for you to have monthly expenses paid for while you focus on what your business idea is.
Great. Thank you.
So that was amazing. So I had savings, of course, from, having worked and had some money put away. And then I had my fellowship. So for that 9 months, I knew each month how much I was going to get. I could buy myself a computer. I could do different things that I needed initially to do to start, in support of what the Price Dynamic would be. I was able to pay for some executive coaching, do some training, go to conferences, and it was just a huge blessing. And then 2 years ago, I received the Bush Fellowship, which is an amazing award.
Yeah.
Amazing award. And that was also the investment in me as a leader to then now continue the work and expanding my thinking around what my leadership can do and be and the impact that it will make.
I did not know about the Bush Fellowship until I moved here and started to meet some Bush Fellow. Can you break that down of how that works for people too? Because that fellowship works a little differently.
Yes.
And it's a different amount of money.
It is. Different amount of money, much more. And it is for fellows in this region. So there's, gosh, I can't even remember how many of us there. It's a huge group. I feel like there's 30 in my cohort.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Even from what I've seen lately. Yeah.
And really what's key about the Bush Fellowship, because this I will say, this was my third time. When I received it, it was the third time that I applied. And I had told myself, this is the last time.
It's not easy to apply.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It is not. I was like, this is the last time I'm going to put this effort into this application. But what changed for me was I was in a space where I understood myself as a leader.
Nice.
The times previous, I was talking about the way my work would impact other people. The key for the Bush Fellowship was understanding who you are as a leader and the impact you make as an individual, no matter what business you have, no matter what idea you have. So that if they invest that amount of money in you, whatever you touch, your leadership should be there. And that is really the core of, I believe, what the Bush Fellowship is. Investing in individuals that can see their leadership in multiple ways and find ways to make impact in their community, in their city, in the region. And I'm so grateful, so grateful.
I love that.
Can we talk about the nitty gritty of entrepreneurship? Because you are in the trenches with it. And obviously we've heard. And let's say, I don't want to say that, someone doesn't have the startup money for the fellowship but let's talk to folks who maybe are like, oh, I just got to get down and get dirty and go at it. Tell us about what you're doing now and kind of the structure and the organization that goes along with it. Also, you have a great brand on social media.
Thank you.
I think a lot of us struggle to get our brand the way it is. So if you can touch on that for folks too and just give them some gems in those areas.
Because you out here making it look real fun, okay? Every time I'm like, what is Alicia about
What's
to say?
she doing now?
What is she doing now?
Awesome.
I would say initially,
As business owners, we know that having the right bank makes all the difference.
For years, that's been Midwest One Bank for me. Trusted, local, and community focused.
Their mission has been to build genuine relationships and deliver top-tier service and provide local expertise in Minnesota, Iowa, Colorado, even Wisconsin.
And now there's a new name backed by the same people, values, and local commitment you trust.
Say hello to Nicolet Bank.
Now, Minnesota, we need to talk. Take a deep breath.
We know that you want to say Nicolet.
So we're going to say this kindly because, of course, we're Minnesota nice, but listen closely.
The actual pronunciation is Nicolet. I know. You'll get used to it.
Nicolet Bank, new name, same commitment, member FDIC.
so good question about if you don't have the money, you don't have the fellowships. I've talked with people where they're like, I keep applying and I feel like they're choosing certain people because you fall into that space because that was me. Before I got the Bush Fellowship the year before, I was looking at everyone who was, elected or awarded the fellowship. And I was like, oh, they just want those kind of people, But so the key I would say too is don't get caught up in that thinking. Don't be in that space. And it's so easy to fall into that space of well, they just want them and not me. It's about understanding the process more, and also owning and knowing that when it is for you, it will be for you.
Love it. Say that part. That's what's sustaining me right
That is so because if I would have gotten that fellowship the first year I applied for it,
You wouldn't have been ready?
no,
Right. Yep.
I wouldn't have understood how to use that money.
That's right.
At all.
Yeah.
But what I will say is have money saved, of course. What I think is fair to say is if you can have 6 months worth of a savings, and I know for some people that sounds like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. But if you can have 6 months worth of a savings, then you have a little bit of room to not stress yourself out if you're going to be quitting your job. Also, if you are going to dive deep into what your business is, please talk to whoever you work for and share with them what you're working on. You might actually get some support. You might actually get an opportunity to test what your concept is in the space and place that you work in. Because a lot of people are not doing things very different than what their daytime work typically is. And so I think it's worth it to share what you're interested in so that you get some support. And it's okay to look at your current job as your investor. It is okay. work as long as you can and use that money to invest your idea. For me, I was pouring so much into the role that I had to leave.
Right.
There was no way I would focus the way I needed to on my own business and staying in the role that I had.
Can you talk to us a little bit about identifying the need that needs to be filled in your story? And
Really good.
because that's also hard sometimes when you're like, I can do these things, but like, what do people actually need and what am I good at?
Yeah. If you can solve a problem, that's it. You can recognize that there's needs, in certain spaces or a need that you might have had. But the key is to figuring out, how do you solve the problem? Identifying a need is very different than solving what is happening for that person, because you can relate all day, but people want to know what you did, how you got there, and is your problem gone? And if your problem is gone, most of the time, I will say this too, they don't care how much it costs. If you're going to solve my problem, that's valuable. And so I would say to anyone, if you have solved a problem in your life, someone wants the answer to that. If it's gardening, if it's weight loss, if it's, crocheting, whatever it is, someone has identified an issue that they're having in that space. And if you figured it out, people are willing to pay for that.
Let's talk about specifically what you do. Talk about the problem that you have solved for folks, because you are very successful at what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in a house with a single parent, but so many people, my husband did. And so for you to say, hold on, we got issues that need to be addressed, and you made a business out of it.
Yes. So I am a co-parent.
Yeah.
And grateful. My son is amazing, 23 now. Never been married. And so for me, it was the understanding of like the dance. What does it mean that now we're not in the same household together?
Yeah.
We need to learn how to co-parent across two households, and then also provide stability for our son. And the more that I was talking about my own life and just what was happening and being an open book, people would say things to me like, how are you doing that? How are you having this simple conversation? How are you dropping your kid off and picking him up, at the end of the weekend and not stressing out the whole weekend that he's away from you? And so I started realizing that I was actually doing things that people wanted to know how to do for themselves. And the more that I shared and talked about that, I was organically coaching people. And the crazy part about it is I was coaching people that were reporting to me. So it was like every workspace and place I was in, I'm, in a one-on-one, and I'm hearing a staff person say, I'm sorry, I wasn't here yesterday because I'm struggling with childcare. I have this going on with, the person I'm trying to co-parent with. And this is the, barrier I have, or this is the pushback I'm getting. And so then I would say, well, how about try this? Or have you tried this? And then naturally people started coming to me and would like, just show me their cell phone. How do I respond to this? What do I say to this? And then I was like, wait, like I'm actually coaching people. Like people need this. They want to know this. So I wrote a book.
Awesome.
It's Not Complicated, which is a self-help guide for mothers navigating co-parenting. And that's where it started. And initially, when the light bulb went on for me about solving a problem, I first thought, I'm going to just write about my experience as a co-parent. It's funny. I've been through tons of stuff, and I know women would relate. However, I thought people who know me would think it was funny. People that don't know me would be like, why would I read that? I don't really care about her co-parenting drama. And then I thought, well, post-drama, what did I learn? And so that's kind of the structure of, how the book came about, and then how coaching came about. It was like, what are the core buckets, the core things that I knew were hard for me and I was able to overcome? What was the lesson I learned from those things? And it was like, oh, that's the framework. Wow. Those are the things people want to know.
So you got the framework, and then talk to us about how you started to actually build out the business, the type of contracts that you were getting.
Yeah.
Because people were speaking your names in rooms that you weren't even in.
Yeah. So, what happened for me, I think it was about time and opportunity. So when I started the business, It was just months before COVID, before the pandemic. And so I was freaking out, like, oh my gosh,
Like everybody else,
I just quit my job.
right?
I just quit my job.
Like,
Now
my
the world
benefits,
shut down.
Now we got to go to the doctor.
Like,
How
wait
am
a
I gonna go
minute.
to this doctor, y'all?
I just bought a house.
Oh man,
It's my
Yeah.
son's senior year. I quit my job and started a fellowship, right? That people are
Yeah.
like, fellow what? You
Right.
say what? Say, what are you
Yeah.
doing? And then everything is closed down. And everything I knew at that point was about connecting with community resources, schools, so that I could meet parents and support them. Well, those places were shut.
Right.
Even the courts, they're closed. And so for me, I had to learn really quickly how to find my target audience and what that was going to look like. And just also being comfortable, being uncomfortable with what it meant to pivot.
Yeah.
Because I went into this thinking that I cared so much about co-parenting. Like, I love my co-parent to this day. And so I wanted to get along. And that was so important to me. And I found out really fast that a lot of people I wanted to serve did not care less about getting along with each other. They were not raising their hand to be in no co-parenting coaching or no class. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, did I stop and do something for people that don't want it? So I had to learn really fast, who to connect with. And that's how the structure came about. So I knew that the courts needed someone to be a part of that system to help families. So I started to kind of dive in there to look there more. And through that, I became one of the leading organizations in our city who is serving families through supervised visitation. Now, mind you, I had never participated in any supervised visitation program. It wasn't a service I needed. So I had to be open enough to see co-parenting broader than what my experience was. And I would say that for anybody, as an example, if you love makeup and you're thinking, I'm gonna create a line, but you don't have oily skin. But then you realize, oh my gosh, I need to actually serve people who have oily skin.
Right.
And that's an area that's important. So being open, right, to the things that are under the umbrella of where you're idealized,
Love that.
I think helps with the structure. It helps with getting contracts because, like I said, I didn't know very much about supervised visitation. Now, nearly 7 years in, it's the biggest part of how money comes into the price dynamic is through our supervised visitation program.
Wow.
Can we ask about money? Because I think so many entrepreneurs struggle with how to price things.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love the name of your company, so I know
Yeah.
you're gonna have some good advice on the price dynamic here. So those contracts, the
Yeah.
service you're offering, how in the world do you figure out how to price? I'll be honest with you
Yeah.
real quick. So some people say price what you need, price at what you need, but then go find out what your competitors are doing. It sounds like, I don't know if you had too many competitors. I'd love to hear that. But what was your mentality going in to figure out what to charge people?
Yes, such a good question. I think it is a absolute balance between price what you need and also researching what your competitors are, right? What was important for me was initially I wanted services to be affordable. I kept feeling like based on who I'm working with, right? Single parents, divorced parents, in my mind, I'm like, oh, they're gonna say, I don't wanna spend a lot of money on these services. So that was my initial thinking. But then when you start to understand what it means to be a social entrepreneur, that it is okay to ask for money. It is okay to ask for it. It is okay to receive it. Cash that check.
Hello.
You can,
Rob it.
but can be paid to do good work. And for some reason, I think we are kind of trained to believe that if you're doing social work, if you're doing community work, you want to have an impact and you want, amazing outcomes for your community, that you should not charge for that. So for me, I did make services that were affordable to start so that I could test my concept. And I did do some research on what other organizations charge for supervised visitation.
And were you just doing that by like going on people's websites or talking to people or what?
Well,
Was there a place you could see that?
Yep. So I was asking the courts typically what they paid. There's also an organization called Supervised Visitation Network. So they kind of have some governing systems around what supervised visitation might look like. So I joined the network and started to ask, questions. But I did charge more because I also lived this co-parenting life, right? So I want people to also understand that if you have actually solved a problem in this area, you have the right to say, I'm an expert in this. I have done it, tried and true. And so if you want what I know works, you will pay me for that. And if you want to just try some stuff, you can go over there and pay them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's just it. And you have to be unapologetic about it. You can't be kind of like, pay what you can afford. People will not value that service.
And don't feel bad when people walk away, because people will walk away. That's the tough part. Like, people will walk away.
Walk away.
Yeah.
And then you just understand that you have a process in place that helps you to identify your customer. Because the person who walked away is not your customer.
Yeah.
That's it.
In the social entrepreneur world, I hear a lot about RFPs. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah.
And has that been useful for your business?
Yes. So the requests for proposals come out a lot, right? You will see them in contracts with county, contracts with government, some private organizations. And you get the opportunity to look through that information to see if what you're offering fits that. And then you put together a proposal and you submit, you kind of throw your hat in the ring, so to speak, and, say, hey, I think I can do this. And the clarity that you provide of what your service is, also your proof of concept, having some initial numbers, right, of like, I've served this many people. And some of those things are going to be organic. They're going to be like, work you did at your kitchen table. And don't downplay that. I will say that to people. They will assume like, I've never done it. I haven't started. Yes, you have. If you are interested in whatever the idea is, or you have passion in that space, trust and believe you're talking to people about it, whether it's every other Sunday at church. Start tallying down how many people you talked about or came back to you and told you, yeah, girl, your hair oil works great. Thank you for, giving me some, whatever it is, right? And start to collect that information because it's all data. And that information goes into those requests for proposal.
But you write it probably leaving out the kitchen table part.
Some.
I'm just saying.
No,
because
you know
you're
what?
making this sound so easy to me, and I love it.
I'm telling
But
you.
then I'm like, what do I actually put in the RFP at my kitchen table? You know what I mean? Like, do we need to phrase it so it sounds super
Yes.
professional? But don't
Such a
leave
good
it out.
question.
Right?
Such a good question. You tailor what you've done
Yeah.
to the audience,
Okay.
right? That kitchen table story is amazing for Bush.
Yeah.
The Bush Fellowship, they want to know about the kitchen table. They want to know about the grind and the hustle because it shares really who you are as a leader, right? And your ability to persevere and push through. So that story goes there.
Yes.
But if you're now trying to get, funding from, say, for instance, a insurance company or the court or, then you need to make sure that that story is there.
Right.
But you share your numbers maybe for that story, right? So it's about keeping that same story, keeping it tight, but knowing how to talk to your audience.
Audience.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yep. And don't be afraid to use ChatGPT now for understanding the audience. You put that story that you have in there, and then you tell them, hey, this is who I'm talking to. And now, can you reframe this story for that audience? You will have one story and it will come out 5 different ways.
Right.
And then you have that as your boilerplate language, and you pop that in to those RFPs. And it does take time to find some of these, opportunities that fit what it is that you want to do.
Do you have to be like certified in a certain way for some of these RFPs, or do you have to, sign up for certain things? Like,
It kind of depends on your field. But like if you're looking for county funding to work, for instance, like I'm working with the courts, then simply you go on to, Hennepin County's website. There's a portal that you can sign up for, costs nothing, and you receive emails every time there's a new request for proposal. And you can be very tailored and say, like, this is the audience that I serve, this is the work that I do, and you will start to get information about opportunities to throw your hat in the ring. Yeah.
I'm glad that we're talking about this because I didn't know about RFPs and how they worked until really recently.
Yeah.
And I started meeting people who had $80,000, $90,000, $150,000 RFPs. And I'm like, oh, okay, that could be an avenue. But like you said,
Yeah.
you have to really know how to strategize to do that. So I'm happy that you broke that down.
Yeah.
One more question for you before we play this game, because I know we're getting close to game
Well, I
time.
want to make sure that we hit on branding and marketing, just
Oh,
for
yeah.
people who struggle with that.
Yes.
But yes, let's go.
Yeah, well,
What-
that's
what you
kind
got?
of
Is
where
that-
I was going. Was no, good. So something about you is that you kind of know how you want to be perceived. Every time we've had a conversation,
Yeah.
you're like, I like this color and this. Her superpower is designing things. Apparently, I've seen it, up close. So how did you figure out, okay, how do I market this? Because it's not just the price dynamic, but you have other businesses. I mean, you have more than 50,000 people following you on some of these, on some of
The platforms.
Your podcast is pretty well followed. So like, how do you market yourself so that way you're putting your stamp on there and it's, being received well?
Yes. I cannot tell you how much I love this question because early on for me, I struggled. I wanted to be taken serious as the founder and CEO and the author. So early on, I didn't really share a lot about me, a lot about Alicia. Yes, my story as a co-parent, but after a while, they got boring. I was like, I'm so much more than that. And now my son is 23, right? So it's like, I'm not talking every day about co-parenting. Dude don't even live in the house with me no more.
He's grown.
But so I think the key was actually knowing myself and knowing my voice. Because I could have stayed in that space of the founder CEO and only talked about co-parenting and I would not, I think, have the following. So I think the thing that's most important is to be authentic. Because then you don't have to find your voice. Just be who you are. And again, your people will follow you. It's the same as your customer. The more that you share your personality, you find, especially in social impact work, when you're trying to make an impact, people have to believe in you. They have to believe in you. And they have to feel like they know you. And the only way they can do that is if you show them who you are.
There you go.
And people really enjoy authenticity. And the more that I leaned into who I am, my family and friends call me Nick. My middle name is Nicole.
Okay.
And the more that I leaned into Nick, that's when it hit, where I didn't try to be professional. I didn't try to stay in the box of what I thought a CEO and founder looked like.
Yeah.
I just said, you know what, here's my lane. This is what it looks like over here. And the more I was comfortable with that, it went.
Wow. And what kind of tools were you using? Like, were you using Canva?
Girl, are we on the same
Yes.
page or what?
Oh my gosh, listen, I love Canva.
Okay.
I love Canva. I started out with using Canva. Do not be afraid to go in there and click around and look at different fonts and find colors that you like. Pinterest early on was a friend so that I could create my own vision, of what does my organization look like? What are the colors that are important to me? All of that is really important to the story. Canva is an amazing tool. I would also say test out ways to tell your story in the way that it comes out naturally for you,
Yeah.
right? So do not be afraid to practice talking about who you are. So many people don't know how to talk about themselves. You ask them all day, like, what do you like? And oh, I do this for my kids. Oh, I do this for my spouse. What do you like? Who are you, right? Or who are you? And then they tell you about their job instead of like what's important to them or what their hobbies are. You even ask people sometimes what are their hobbies and they like, I don't know. They don't know.
Yeah.
So you have to be comfortable talking about you, talking about what you enjoy. And I think that also helps with the branding piece.
Yeah.
But Canva, Canva.
Nice.
I love it.
I just made a
CapCut,
graphic on
I
there
love it.
yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah. CapCut, we use that
CapCut is
too.
very, yes.
And so I'm going to bring this up as my final point with the marketing and branding thing. Before we went on camera, Alicia came in here talking about just get it done. I use my iPhone.
Yes.
Just get it done.
Yes.
So you need to tell the people.
Yes.
How to
There's
use
no
the iPhone.
excuses. There's no excuses. Yes. What? Like, tell us.
There is
Because honestly, I
no-
look at my phone. I'm like, oh my gosh, do I need to
Yep.
shoot a video today? I probably do.
Yeah.
So inspire us. Help
Honestly.
us.
So I will say, very new. I started randomly talking to myself. Right. I was getting dressed in my closet room, and I was talking to myself, and I recognized that what I was saying to myself was funny. Right.
You like, you
So
know what? I'm
I
actually
was like,
pretty
girl,
funny
this
up in
is
here.
hilarious. So I put my camera up, and I just hit record and was talking.
Nice.
And what came of it was these workplace videos where I have now this series of sharing things that happen in the workplace. And I say that to say, when I initially recorded that video, I thought it was just for me because it was funny.
Interesting.
And then the more that I looked at it, I said, you know what, I should just post it. And I posted it and it took off.
Right.
And it is so clear. Like, I didn't plan that. There was never a plan to talk about the workplace. But people wanted to hear it. And people had already bought into who is Alicia, right? And that this is authentic. She's being honest about her experience. So yes, use the iPhone. It is an amazing tool. The camera on it is great. The microphone is good enough.
Yeah.
It is.
It is just make a video and put it out there.
Don't overthink it.
Do not overthink
Just
it.
do it.
Just
That's the hard part. Just do it. Sometimes we don't.
jump out there.
Right. Yeah.
Just jump out there. You could think about anything else in life that you did not quite know how to do when you first started. It is the same way. I think for some reason, because, you know, it's technology, it's once you put it out there, it's out there. That's of course frightens people.
Right.
However, here's the other key. Know that what you record and what you put out there is not for your friends and family. And that's what I think sometimes catches people up. They're thinking about how their friends and family and people they know will perceive them or will critique what they put out or what they say. They're not your audience. If you're going to be a true social entrepreneur, business owner, you have to be clear on who your audience is. And I don't know anybody who does any value proposition about their business that when they start to look at who is their target market, do they write down their grandma, the grandpa, the Braddy? You're not putting those people in there, and you're talking about people from a age group to an age group, gender, whatever. And then when you realize who your target audience is, that's who needs to see the content. So don't be scared.
Yeah. I love it.
So good.
Can I put a plug for Minnesota Podcast Studio?
Sure.
So if in fact after you use your iPhone, you're still like, oh, I really wanted to look more professional, you can come to Minnesota Podcasting Content
Everybody has
Studio.
a ministry, but maybe that's what will guide people to be like, oh, this is what I need.
Well, and that's what I think you should
sometimes
do.
people
You
don't
have
know.
to try it. And that's why I wanted to bring it
you
up. You
do.
have to try it with your phone. You have to
Yeah.
do it and get going. And then obviously, if you need some help,
Yes.
our studio is here too. I just had to throw that little plug in. Of
course.
Support each other.
We have a game that we
do you
like
wanna
to
do a
play.
game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Real quick, last question I will ask you. You understand how to have boundaries, and I know that you have non-negotiables. And that doesn't always have to be a bad thing. But after all of this, the marketing, the finding your passion, all the things, have you found any non-negotiables that you believe helped just like push you forward in a way that you wouldn't have been able to if you didn't have them?
Such a good question. I will say majority of the funding that comes into our organization comes from county services, courts. And one of the things that I think scares people is those type of systems have a way of working with each other, right? And it could be the spaces where you feel like there is gatekeeping or there's a nice nasty. There's a real Minnesota way to do business in those spaces. Non-negotiable for me was to play in that same space and follow that rule. So for me, I said, this is how I want our business to run. This is who I am as a leader, and this is how I'm going to show up. If those things don't fit for me, the way those systems work, then I don't want that money. I don't want that contract. Because I know then I would start to feel like I don't work for myself. Then I work for them. So I show up very authentically, Alysha Price. This is me. This is how I talk. This is what we do. And I don't feel the need to acquiesce to their systems and their work culture and the way that you hired me to do what I'm good at. And this is how we do it. And so for me, that was the non-negotiable, was to say, this is how we do it. We have been contracted to do this work, and this is how it will be done. Yeah. And so just not to change.
As the old folks would say, like so, like that. Like so, like that.
Yeah.
Okay, now game time.
And I just want to say that if anybody else needed to hear that, I don't know, but I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Just from a business owner
Yep.
perspective, I needed to hear that in this moment right now today. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Okay, let's
I
do
just
it.
love it.
Okay, so we call this what's more important.
Okay.
Dawn, you can describe how this works. 'Cause
No,
really, she
you
thought
do
this
so
up.
good at yelling
She
at
thought this
people
up.
and telling them that they can't
I
break
don't
the
yell.
rules.
I just strongly
strongly
encourage them not to
encourage-
break the rules.
I don't even know if you encourage though. You kind of just say you better not break the rules.
Well, just like you said, make it plain, like just like that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, so what's more important? We're going to ask you to pick one. Alexis always says you can only pick one.
Okay.
And then if you want to explain why you picked that one, that's fine too. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to kick it off?
That's good. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What's more important, passion or structure?
Passion.
That makes sense. What's more important, visibility or credibility?
Visibility.
Why do you say that?
Yeah.
Visibility because we're in a world right now where that's what people want. Now, credibility is important, but that can come. But if you're out there, you get to build on that. You get to learn from it. That helps to kind of build the credibility. But we're in a world right now where you got to show up. You got to be visible. Yeah.
Nice.
So good. Okay, impact or income?
Impact. Yeah.
I'll be curious to see how you answer this one. Personal brand or business brand?
Personal.
And why?
Personal builds the business.
Okay. Yep. They connect. Yep.
What's more important, saying yes to the opportunity or saying no to protect capacity?
Saying yes to the opportunity.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the other one.
Why'd you say it? Why'd you say it?
Interesting.
Because that opportunity may not come back.
Okay.
And so when you are an entrepreneur and a business owner, you have to show up. You have to be ready. So there may be times that you don't feel fully equipped and ready, but as long as you got that fire that I talked about earlier, that passion and fire in the pit of your stomach, you're going to figure it out.
I know that's right.
So, I mean, very recently for me, I said yes to an opportunity and was kind of like, I don't really know what the hell I'm doing. But I'm so glad I jumped in,
Yes.
right? So yes, there are times where you have to protect capacity, but if you say yes to an opportunity, it could grow your capacity.
Wonderful.
So,
that.
Awesome. Okay, final one here. Serving everyone or serving the right people?
the right people.
Thought you'd say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Thanks for kicking it with us. If anybody wants to connect with you, what's the best way?
Yeah.
Oh my. You can follow me on Instagram at Miss MS Alysha Price. Also YouTube, same place. But then if you're interested in the price dynamic, www.thepricedynamic.com. Check out all the services there. Also aliciaprice.com, and come hang out.
You got lots of stuff, girl. You got
Lots of
books,
stuff.
courses.
T-shirts. Oh, got on one of the shirts
I was about
now.
to say, I like the T-shirt.
Thank
And we
you.
always talk about making T-shirts up in
Right?
here.
Yeah.
So
She
brought her own.
You did it.
There you go.
Corporate didn't quit me. I quit corporate.
Hey, we like to see it. We need to get that shirt.
That's a good one.
Hello.
I think we can all relate to that.
I know it. Alicia, thank you.
Thank
Keep
you.
impacting people, my
Yes,
friend.
thank you so much.
Thank you for your inspirational words for all of us, business owners, even non-business owners, right? Just uplifting each other. No gatekeeping. We're supporting each other, dropping gems, right? To help others move forward faster. Yeah.
100%.
Thanks, lady.
Don't you love when we get a little smarter?
Oh, this was great. This was wonderful. So, of course, we want you to continue getting smarter with us. All you have to do is go on the journey, check out courageousnewstart.com, become a part of our community. Tell us also what type of topics you'd like us to talk about on a regular basis here.
And remember to like and subscribe to Courageous New Start podcast on YouTube. We want to make sure that we have you with us.
For sure. Be courageous, everyone. Every day is a new start.
We'll see you next time.